Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update.
And welcome to our live studio audience for another exciting edition of Did You Know? And here we go with round one. Did you know?
The COVID vaccine is free and easy to get. You don't need insurance or an appointment to get your vaccine. Vaccines are available at many locations near you.
And now we're going to double the value. Did you know?
The COVID-19 vaccine is always free of cost. You can visit pharmacies, community health centers, and other health providers in your neighborhood.
And now for the lightning round. Did you know?
The Delta variant of COVID is a mutation that has health experts worried because it's twice as contagious.
Then for our finale, did you know?
The best way to protect yourself from the COVID Delta variant is to get fully vaccinated. Get your vaccine today.
Find out more at kingcounty.gov/vaccine. Did you know?
Women Empowerment Talk Radio, your roadmap to business success. Tune in every Sunday at 3 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.world, providing resources and sharing motivational experiences from the everyday entrepreneur. Tune in Women Empowerment Talk Radio every Sunday, 3 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violetta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
High school football is back, but guess what? We need more referees. There is a constant need for qualified individuals to work our high school football game. Please consider becoming a football official. Go to pnfoa.com to sign up today. That's pnfoa.com to sign up today. This is a message brought to you by Rainier Avenue Radio.org, your home for Metro High School football.
You are listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Don't forget to log on www.rainieravenueradio.world.
Okay, there we go. Welcome to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It's me, your host, Tony B. And this is our special Impacts of the Coronavirus on South Seattle and surrounding communities broadcast we have been doing since March 13th of 2020 as the coronavirus continues to impact, well, just about everything that we do. A little bit in a couple of minutes, my guest joining me will be Fire Chief Eric Hicks. We're going to talk about King County Fire Chiefs Association's effort to launch diversity and recruitment. So we're excited to have that conversation. Of course, lately in the news has been information about the Omicron variant. And there's just not a lot of information. I'm sure that you know how we get out, and we bring you information as soon as we get it, as they like to say, hot off the presses. Well, I don't have a lot of information really to give you. I will tell you what I do know right now is that they're still waiting. Science is still waiting to find out how transmissible the Omicron virus really is, if it causes more severe infections, and if vaccines will be as effective against it. Still waiting. Currently, the Delta is still the dominant variant in King County, and the U.S. for that matter. And we know what works: vaccinations and boosters, well-fitting masks, social distancing, good ventilation in indoor spaces, and testing and isolating when there are symptoms. So that's what's going on with Omicron right now. Is there's just not enough information for us really to give you something new on this show. As soon as we find out, which will probably be next week, we'll have someone on the show to give you all the latest and updated information on the Omicron variant. I'd like to welcome to the program right now Fire Chief Eric Hicks. Eric, how are you doing, sir?
Great. Thank you for having me here today. I was trying to get my camera working. It shows it's working on my side. But again, Tony, thank you for having me on your show.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see you. But I hear you.
There we go.
There he is. There's that handsome guy. Well, man, to start off with, how are you doing in general? How are things for you?
For me personally, I'm doing great. I'm focusing on the job at hand, and firefighters do that very well. It seems like we're in a state of emergency, ever since Corona started, or the coronavirus started. And just like being at a fire, we're constantly working to improve our delivery of service, try to take care of ourselves mentally and physically. And so I'm doing well, and staying strong to be able to serve the citizens.
All right. So y'all have a goal of workshops to recruit a diverse workforce to serve King County communities in the position of firefighter EMT. I'm going to share a little information. The King County Fire Chiefs Association is hosting its first ever diversity and recruitment workshop. Wow, first ever. The workshops are designed to help potential firefighter applicants navigate the hiring process and are geared towards recruiting a more diverse workforce. If you're an individual who has an interest in serving the King County community as a firefighter, EMT, and want to learn more about the hiring process, you are encouraged to register. There's a free workshop. I think that guide timeline may be over with right now, but I think that there'll be another one. And these workshops are open to anyone at least 16 years of age and are targeted towards potential applicants who may experience access or systemic barriers to become a fighter, fire, or an EMT. This includes BIPOC communities, LGBTQIA+, women, bilingual adults, and those with no prior fire service experience. Did I get that right?
You nailed it. You nailed it. I'm all done. You did it.
Well, let's talk about being a firefighter. First of all, we think we know what that means. You get to ride on trucks and hang out on ladders and do really cool things. I'm sure, and you get to stay like 3 or 4 nights with your firefighter buddies over. I mean, that's kind of the basic thing that we know. I know there's far more to it than that. But let's talk about a firefighter, being a firefighter or an EMT. And I'm going to get more specific. But if you can, just kind of give a general overall kind of job description of what that entails.
Sure. Being a firefighter is very rewarding. To give you just a little bit of data.
I already said you get to ride on trucks.
I know. All right. 70 to 80% of what we do are medical calls, and maybe not a lot of people may not know that. There's a lot of shows on TV showing us running through smoke and, catching babies from buildings and stuff like that. But that's, a lot of that can be fictional, what you see on TV. But, 70 to 80% of what we do are medical calls, the cardiac calls, the car accidents. You get a little bit of hazmat in there, water rescue calls. So we do a variety of things besides being a firefighter, that title firefighter. Just to kind of give you a quick, down and dirty, typical day of a firefighter is arriving at their station around 7:30, 8 o'clock, getting themselves on the rig, checking in with their officer, talking about what's going to go on for the day. Then you start with your housekeeping duties, which is, cleaning the station, checking the rigs, getting your equipment ready for your shift. Anytime during that time, you could be going on emergency medical calls, fires. You have drills that are set for the day, whether they're sitting at the computer going through a drill or actually physically going out and doing drilling on rope rescue, on firefighters handling hose, all aspects of the job. Typically around about 7-8 o'clock at night, is really kind of free time to where you're just getting yourself ready for what we call the night shift, to where you're going to continue to respond on calls possibly throughout the night. If you don't get any calls, typically it's just possibly go to sleep around 10, 11 o'clock at night and maybe sleep through the night, or you could be up for the rest of the night responding on emergency calls. It just depends on how busy your station is.
How did the pandemic impact what you do, what those who your peers do?
Yeah. So, in the beginning, the concern was at risk of exposure, right? We saw what happened in the city of Kirkland, the Kirkland Fire Department. They were the first firefighters to be exposed in our state, and what that did to their fire, stations, where it had to be closed down, to cleaning the stations, to firefighters coming down with COVID during that time, to risk of transmission to the rest of the staff and to the public. And then there was the challenges of PPE in the beginning, sourcing PPE, gloves, masks, our gowns, everything to keep us safe. That impacted response times, because the more PPE you have to put on, that could delay response times, anywhere from seconds to an additional minutes to respond to that call. It affected the public. The public started to get really nervous about calling 911. So there was our 911 call started to dip just a little bit, because people were a little more hesitant to call 911, a little more hesitant to actually go to the hospital. From that, we learned a lot. We got better at donning our PPE, what PPE we needed to respond on calls. We stood up mobile vaccination units throughout King County to go out to a lot of our retirement homes to vaccinate those people first, to our low-income communities. We stood up testing sites along with King County Public Health. We partnered with King County Public Health to deliver those vaccines, to put up the testing sites. Then along came the mandatory vaccine mandate from the governor. So getting our staff vaccinated that are actually responding on calls and providing medical care was essential. And then also working with Public Health. Public Health has a great dashboard with all the data that I believe people should visit to find out how King County is performing, because I believe that King County is number one in the nation the way we've attacked the COVID virus, and also the vaccines and how we respond to calls. I believe that we are number one in the country.
Okay, so there's an opportunity now. You are consciously making an effort to recruit a more diverse workforce. We know that during the period of the pandemic, which we're still in, and in 2020 with the social upheaval and unrest that took place, that a lot of the systemic oppressions that were there, and that some of those issues that we thought were safety nets were not there. And we also knew that in particular for Black and marginalized communities, that all of these things were exacerbated. Is this first ever diversity and recruitment workshop something that is a derivative of those things? Why now?
This is really a long time coming. I've been in the fire service for about 30 years. And these conversations, have been going on for ever since I've been in the fire service. As far as right now, I believe, we have the right people in the seats to make this happen, the right attitudes to make this happen, the right data, that actually data is being collected to make this happen. I believe that, here in King County, we recognize that we have an opportunity to make change. And so I am actually the vice president of King County Fire Chiefs Association, and I'm on the DEI subcommittee to help make this happen. And next year I'll be the president of the Fire Chiefs Association. and we'll continue the good work. And we plan on having another workshop right around possibly around spring, around the first or second quarter of the year, and it would be in the south end of the county.
Okay. As we're talking about this, and hopefully some of those who are looking for this type of work, or if you aspire to be a firefighter, are listening and engaged right now, I'm just going to ask you just point blank, like, how much money can you make as a firefighter? Is that fairly consistent? I'll start with that, how much, well, for any job, Fire Chief Hicks, folks want to know how much they're going to get paid. Is that something you can share with us as we're trying to
Absolutely
encourage people?
Yeah, we are public employees, so our salaries are public. So, it really depends on what fire district or city that you're applying for. All those salaries should be published, but you're looking anywhere from $69,000 to around almost $80,000 in the King County area, starting. That's the starting wage. That's when you're on probation, you're going through the academy, and most labor contracts have a step process. So your top wage, you're looking anywhere from $100,000 to about $110,000. If you're in for anywhere from 1 to 5 years. So as you reach that top step firefighter wage, then there's a lot of opportunity once you're into the fire service, as far as promotional opportunities. You're talking an extra 15 to 25% on top of that if you were to become a engineer or a captain, lieutenant, all the way up to battalion chief to chief. So it is actually a good family wage with great benefits that could really change generationally your family lifestyle, how you live, how you're going to send your kids to college, or you could really break a cycle here. And so that's really when we talk to people that maybe come from challenging households or from low income households. You have an opportunity here to not only make a difference in your community, but to make a difference within your own family by getting a job that pays a good family wage with great benefits.
Okay, we talk about benefits. I don't know if this is a gotcha question or a great question for you to answer, but we don't always understand what it means when you say benefits package.
Exactly.
So add on benefits package. That sounds to me like added value, bennies. What type of benefits package are you talking about that I would consider added value to that salary is starting at $69,000 to $80,000?
Yeah. So, a lot of young people may not understand what a pension is, may not understand how important medical insurance is, or having insurance to get glasses, or you get your teeth fixed and stuff like that. So,
as we both look through this, the lens to give us additional eyesight with glasses. Anyway, go ahead.
Exactly. So, the benefits we talk about is, just your medical benefits, being able to go see the doctor and stay healthy. It's comforting to know that you can walk into a doctor and you may have to pay a small copay, or your medical premium might be low, or maybe it be no premium at all that you're paying per month for your family. For your family, this depends on the labor contract for the department that you're working for, and then we talk about a pension, having a defined benefit package, a defined pension is important. You put 30 years into an organization or a company, and you have something there that you can retire on and, live out the rest of your years without, worrying about where your next check's going to come from when you're, 60, 70 years old. And that would last you for the rest of your life. So these benefits I talk about, a lot of people don't think about. They may only look at how much am I going to get per hour, but there's a lot more to this when you're starting out, in your younger years as a firefighter. And when I say younger, that could be anywhere from 20 to 35 years old. There's no minimum or maximum age to start your fire service career. I've been on the job long enough where I've hired people that are 49 years old just getting into the fire service, so there's always a chance if you want to get into the fire service. It doesn't matter how old you are. You do have a minimum age, most of the time 18 years or older.
My guest is Fire Chief Hicks. The King County Fire Chiefs Association has launched a diversity and recruitment program. If launching a program like this for diversity, lends one to believe that there were potentially barriers that folks may have had in thinking that I'm not eligible for this, I'm not going to get the job, I can't, whatever the reasons were. And barriers are not something new in our society. We know what we're up against here, and on this show, we just have frank, open, honest discussion. What have you identified as some of the potential hurdles that to create a more diverse workforce, that to assure folks, hey, this is something that I can be part of, or some of the specific things again that are challenges that you can assure folks that we can either work around this, we'll help you work with this. I don't know whether those things are educational, racial. I don't know. So I'm just asking, what have you identified in order to say, hey, we need to do this? These are some of the challenges or barriers that we're facing in diversifying our workforce.
Right. So first, we want people to be able to look at that red fire truck going down the street or look at the ambulance saying, I can do that. I can see myself up in that seat. Sometimes that takes someone that looks like them to be in that seat to be able to think that. But first, we got to get get them to think that they can do this, that this is possible for them and their family. This is possible. Second is access to information. If they don't think they can do it or they don't see themselves in that seat, how do we get that information to them to see that they can do this, to kind of turn that around? Right now, if I was to ask you, how would you apply to be a firefighter? You may not know the first steps on what to do. There's different pathways. There's going to.
You're absolutely right. Okay.
Yeah. And so lots of times you may get information from, if you have an uncle that's a firefighter, or your father or your mother, someone in the family that's a firefighter, and they're feeding you information. So how do we get that information out to people? How do they get access to information? There's websites, there's social media, there's different outlets, but how can we create maybe one place to get this information? Now, how to even start? What is the first step? Then we got the testing, right? So there could be barriers there financially. It could take, $150 just to do the physical agility test. It could take anywhere from $49 to $109 just to take the written test. And guess what? If you fail that written test, you got to pay to take it again somewhere down the road, or you have to wait a certain amount of time to take that test again. So as you're going through all these, I got to take this test, I got to pay this amount, I got to do this. There's a financial barrier there. There's a certain fire culture barrier that, or an implicit bias once you get into an interview of, do you even look like a firefighter, right? Lots of times, some of the shows that we watched in the past can show a white firefighter that's 6 foot tall that looks like a firefighter, right? That's not really the definition of a firefighter, that you're 6 foot tall and white, but maybe the movies have showed that in the past, and that's not what it's really about. It's about the best candidate, for the job. They've passed all the minimum requirements, you've interviewed well, and you are the best candidate. It's not about how you look when you come into that room for the interview. So that's what we call a firefighter prototype, right? That's that look and that implicit bias. So there's the financial barriers. There's the barrier of like, do they even see themselves in that seat? I do job fairs with younger people all the time, and you'd be surprised how many of them, I don't really get swamped at the table of people wanting to be firefighters, especially kids of color. So we got to turn that around, and they can see themselves in that seat. They can see themselves as a firefighter. They can see themselves as a fire chief or a fire captain.
Again, you're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio. It's me, Tony B. This is our special Impacts of the Coronavirus on South Seattle and surrounding community show. And hey, check this out. The King County Fire Chiefs Association has launched a diversity and recruitment workshop trying to get you employed as a firefighter. $69,000 to $80,000 a year to start. Benefits. Now, I think we're a little late for the workshop, right? The workshop happened on December 1st. Is that correct?
Actually, it got moved to December 11th, but it filled up pretty fast. But like I said, we will be Yeah, registration is filled up. So we have started a wait list, and those people will be contacted for the next one, which will take place south end of King County next year.
Okay, man, I got so many questions. We're almost out of time. Chief Hicks, great seeing you again, by the way. So I got to say this. How do you do it? How do you apply? How do you, okay, I'm listening to this. I want to do it. What's the process? And the registration is full. I guess that's a good thing.
Right.
I mean, good on one hand, it's good. On another thing, you see that there is also a need and there is an interest in this. So for anyone who wasn't able to get on that registration, or someone who's saying, well, I want to do this, I want to learn more, what can they do? How can they get out?
Well, let's start off with the King County Fire Chiefs website, which is kingcountyfirechiefs.org. We have a careers tab on our website that will, you go to our careers page, and there's 3 options there that you should all take advantage of, which is the wildfire careers, public safety testing, and National Testing Network. Those are the 3 agencies that does testing for most of the fire departments in King County and really the state and out of state. That's a good start, because that's where you're going to find out what departments are actually hiring. Oh, there you go. What departments are actually hiring, the first steps in getting the test, what it costs. So that tab right there that says careers, for those who are watching.
Mm-hmm. And most of folks are listening. A lot of folks are watching too.
Okay, great.
About the folks who are just listening. If you're listening, what's showing on the screen right now is that website, and how you go about that process. But
so those are really going to be your first steps into trying to figure out and find out, where do I even apply? Who's even hiring? And to give you an example, Seattle is one of the larger fire departments in the state, and they use National Testing Network. Their process is free as far as their written tests, and I believe they give a voucher for their physical agility. And they're going to host an academy here in I believe it's February, and they're looking at 60 recruits for their academy, which is a really big academy for the city of Seattle. That's just one example of one of the departments that are hiring. And right now, there are a lot of people who have retired. There's a lot of opportunity for people to get into the fire service. Right now is some of the best times to get hired, because a lot of fire departments are hiring in large numbers.
Fire Chief Hicks, why did you decide to be a firefighter? Is that something you've known all your life, or when did you make that decision?
It really started for me when I was about in the 10th grade. And back then I was caught up in the same movies that everybody else watched. I didn't know much about the fire service, about, how many medical calls would go on. And I tell people I got into it because I wanted to kick down doors and save babies, And today I use that example of I'm just aggressive in learning my craft and being the best fire chief I can be, and really supporting my firefighters and getting them the best equipment and support they need to do their job so they can kick down doors and save babies.
All right. I got a couple minutes left here. I want to give you the opportunity for something that I call shameless self-promotion. All right. We've got you on here to talk about diversifying the work, folks, getting folks from diverse backgrounds to apply for these positions to create a more diverse workforce. I'm going to give you a minute or two here for some shameless self-promotion to sell this opportunity to become a firefighter to those who are listening right now. So I'm going to give you a minute or two to go ahead and, as I say, do your thing. All right, make it happen now. Sell this thing.
All right. Job satisfaction is number one. I love being a firefighter. I love being a fire chief. It is something about giving back. There's something about serving the community. It's something about doing something different that attracts me to being in the fire service. If you haven't thought about it before, definitely research, definitely visit a fire station, talk to a firefighter, come visit Skyway, come up to the Skyway fire station. I will spend time with you to convince you why this is a great career choice if you're soul searching. If you're out there testing and you're trying to get on, do not give up. I know a lot of people are out trying to become firefighters. They get so close, they get all the way up to a chief's interview and they don't get the job and they feel like they want to give up because they've been at it for a few years. Do not give up. Keep trying, keep testing, keep getting better at interview. If you need help, I will help you out with the interview process and how to navigate that, and the right words to say in the interview. I can help you out with that. And I think that's about it. Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Get your booster. That's the only way we're going to get out of this pandemic.
and final 30 seconds to a minute here. First of all, thank you for joining us, Fire Chief Eric Hicks. An opportunity for final words. Anything that you'd just like to say, whether it would be, again, to be redundant about sharing that information about how folks can reply, or just anything that you want to say to our listeners and those who are watching right now.
Again, don't give up if you're out there testing. I appreciate the time that you've given me here today to represent the King County Fire Chiefs. Again, we feel this is important. Having a diverse workforce and representing, King County is huge. I can't imagine things being any different. I will continue this charge as long as I'm in the position of fire chief to make the profession better, to make it more accepting. And I would just continue to do my part. So thank you again for letting me be here.
All right. Well, we appreciate what you do, the service that you provide. The pandemic happened, but y'all don't really have the type of occupation where you can stop doing what you're doing. And although there were adjustments made, you continue to do it. And so as communities, and on behalf of our community, we thank you for the work that you do. And, I was thinking about, I don't know why I was thinking about this, Fire Chief Hicks, but I was thinking, because y'all do a lot of different things and you interact with the communities. And I was thinking, maybe we should have a tug of war, Rainier Avenue Radio versus the Fire Chiefs, but we'd get killed. we'd get killed. We'd get shrugged across that line and down the block. So I have to think of something else. But
you can have an eating contest. You see me in person, so
eating contest. Now we can do that. I'm a producer. We got a ringer over here. Well, hey, it's been good seeing you again. Thank you for taking the time to come on the show and give us more information about this. And good luck in getting recruits, and let us know if there's anything else that we can do to help our community provide with jobs. And like you said, this may be a generational transition for some folks. So thanks for being here, Fire Chief.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Again, you're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world. It's me, Tony B. Tomorrow at noon, high school football right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. This is it. We've been doing this all year. We finally got down to the top two in 3A. Kennewick, surprising Kennewick in the finals against number one Bellevue. Throwback football, if you're Bellevue, just ground and pound. That's what they do. So this is going to be a really exciting game. Noon, the whole team is going to be there. Slick Rick Dupree, John J. Yeezy Yasutaki, Juan Cotto, and of course our excellent staff, Daniel Bellis, Lourdes, Vanessa. We'll all be there to bring this game to you. And that's tomorrow at noon. On the 7th, we'll be broadcasting live from the Converge Media Studios. We'll be giving you information on the Shama Sawant recall. We'll have folks from both sides sharing their opinions and thoughts. We'll be giving you updates and how the balloting and the voting is going. And then afterwards, we'll have some folks tell you what they think once the polls have closed down as well. Now, if you're in Seattle District 3, you're the only ones who can vote. But this will impact potentially the entire city council and the thoughts about the city council. And so there's a lot of information out there that you should check out in regards to this vote. And then on the 11th, it's going to be our holiday bazaar and party. That's right, from noon to 5. We've got vendors. who are going to be in the Columbia City Theater at 4916 Rainier Avenue South, sharing their wares, selling their wares. Come down to the Columbia City Theater from noon to 5 next Saturday, December 11th. You can shop till you drop. You can buy unique, one-of-a-kind, handmade items from our vendors. And no, wait, there's more. Yes, we're going to activate both stages. If you haven't been to the Columbia City Theater, you'll check it out. There's a couple of stages. We'll have performances on both stages. As an example, songstress Josephine Howe will be performing. Funk and jazz band Goodie Bag will be performing. Frosty the Snowman will be performing. Yes, you heard it right. Frosty the Snowman will be performing. There will be an appearance and a visit from Santa as well. So a lot of things going on. And in addition to that, give you more information on this later, we'll be also celebrating our Rainier Avenue Radio holiday party, where you have an opportunity to come down and meet some of the personalities that are on Rainier Avenue Radio. You'll be able to meet D Money, Nasty Ness Rodriguez, and GMS and the entire crew, DJ Alibaba, Cindy Bright, John Yasutaki, everybody that's on our staff, Jazz in the cabinets, Kevin, or excuse me, Big Poppy. So come on down, and the afternoons with Monique Lay, and Shattering Your Glass Ceiling. So you'll get to meet your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio personalities too. So that's all December 11th from noon to 5. There's some opportunities if you'd like. You can find out more information about also getting dinner that'll be catered by Chef Lawrence Stubbs. So there's just a lot going on, a house full of vendors. Hey, if you're interested in being a vendor, I know this is a lot of information, but go to our website and just email RainierAvenueRadio.world, and we'll get back to you. We only have a very, very few spaces left for vendors. And so if you're hearing this, do it now. Not now, right now. If you're interested in being a vendor, there's going to be a bunch of people there, and you'll have an opportunity to make some money. And we're really excited about bringing in from other people in from other communities to take advantage of this opportunity to shop small businesses in South Seattle, and some of our, again, entrepreneurs who own businesses but don't have that physical building. They'll be there, and you can find probably a bunch of stuff that you won't find anywhere else. Columbia City Theater, noon to 5. That's next Saturday, December 11th. That's it. That is all the time that I have. That's going to do it for the kid. Thank you for listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world and our special broadcast of the impacts of the coronavirus on South Seattle. We're not done yet. Go and switch over if you're watching to our audio streaming format. You can just go to the website and click listen. We've got 90 more minutes of coronavirus update information for you. This is Tony B saying, remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you are probably right.